Good morning, Sangamon Valley, and thank you for joining us for our Veterans Day video for 2022. Veterans Day serves as an opportunity to recognize and celebrate our veterans, and today it's our privilege to say thank you to those who have served our country and let them know that we appreciate their sacrifice and honor them for everything that they have done. Thank you, veterans.
What does liberty mean to me? Liberty is my freedom and my rights, my freedom to say what I want, to wear what I want, and to be what I want. My ability to choose what I do, and because of that, I choose to honor all of my veterans. Because of you, I can use my liberty to my felicity. Because of you, we who stand before us stand as a free country. That's why we take this day as a nation to honor all of our veterans on November 11th. You have given us liberty, freedom, and put our country before you. As I stand here today, I want to say thank you for being our saviors, for sacrificing your lives at the cost of ours, and for providing the safety and assurance that has never faltered. As Jeff Miller once said, the willingness of America's veterans to sacrifice for our country has earned them our lasting gratitude. Just as Mr. Miller quoted, "You have done a heroic act for our nation, and we will forever be grateful for your long-lasting commitment to protect us from the injurious people in the world, or helping when you are in need, and for that, we will always owe you our life, liberty, and freedom. From the Army to the Navy, from the Air Force to the Coast Guard, and to the Marine Corps, we thank all of you that stand before us, and so many more. Thank you."
Thank you, veterans, for serving our country.
Thank you, veterans, for your service.
Thank you, veterans, for all you have done.
Thank you, veterans, for serving our country.
Thank you very much, veterans.
Thank you, veterans, for serving our country.
Thank you, veterans.
Thank you for your time and service in the military, veterans.
Thank you for serving our country.
Thank you so much, veterans.
Thank you for serving our country.
Thank you for protecting our country.
Thank you, veterans.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for protecting our country.
Thank you, veterans.
Thank you, veterans. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, veterans.
Hi, I am Reverend Melissa Ebken, Devin's mom and pastor of the Illiopolis and Niantic Christian churches in Illiopolis and Niantic. But before anyone ever called me pastor, or before they called me mom, and before they even called me Mrs. Ebken, they called me Sergeant Mears, to be exact. I joined the National Guard when I was a junior in high school. That's been a while ago. That was back in the late 1980s, and a lot has changed since then. But at that time in my life, I was a very shy kid. I was very smart and wanted to go and do a lot of things in this world, but I also knew that I was too shy and didn't really have that confidence inside to accomplish the things I wanted to accomplish. Maybe you can identify with that a little bit. Perhaps you're smart, you're able, you have skills, but you just don't know how to get out and get things accomplished, or to stand up for yourself, or whatever it is in your life. That was me. I was too shy and I needed confidence. So I decided to join the Illinois Army National Guard. I grew up with the Army as a part of my life. My dad had served in the Korean conflict. I had uncles in World War II and ancestors going on back. My brother was in the Air Force. And I decided to join the National Guard because that would be what I needed to grow into the adult that I wanted to be. And here's a look at how the Army commercials were back in my day.
We do more before 9 a.m. than most people do all day.
All that you can
hey, First Sergeant. Good morning.
Find your future in the Army.
Pretty cool, huh? Now, you notice there weren't any women in that clip, and there weren't a lot of women in a lot of different jobs in the Army back then. But I thought, if I'm going to join the Army National Guard, I am going to do something I would never have the opportunity to do otherwise. So I found a unit in Peoria, Illinois, that was an aviation unit. I decided to join up and be a helicopter mechanic. Go big or go home, right? I thought this is going to be an adventure. I'm going to do something I would never have the chance to do otherwise in my life. So at 17 years old, I signed up to be an Army UH-1H Huey helicopter mechanic. Today, I want to talk to you about all of the benefits. Well, I don't have time to tell you all of the benefits, but I would like to tell you a few of the benefits that I have experienced by serving in the military. First, as I mentioned, I joined the Army National Guard when I was a junior in high school. So I had the opportunity to do split option training. I went to basic training between my junior and senior year of high school. Basic training was hard. It was really challenging. It was in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And as I mentioned, I went between my junior and senior year of high school. So at 17 years old, I was learning all of the basics to be a soldier in the Army and to serve in the Illinois Army National Guard. At its completion, I went back to school and I finished my senior year of high school. And after I graduated, then I was ready to go to Advanced Individual Training, also known as AIT. Now, basic training teaches you how to be a soldier. Every person in the Army takes this training. AIT is the Advanced Individual Training, and that teaches the soldier a particular job that he or she will do in the Army. So for me, it was time to go to helicopter mechanic school. That was at Fort Rucker, Alabama. So I hopped back on a plane again for my second plane ride and went to Alabama for another summer of training with the Army. And there, I learned how to work on helicopters. AIT is supposed to be a little more laid back, and you're supposed to have a few more freedoms than you had in basic training. That was not the case for me in my particular training. It was even harder than basic training was. But I tell you what, it was the best thing for me. What came out of that training for me was, even though basic training in South Carolina was hard, after completing AIT in Fort Rucker, Alabama, I felt like I could do anything. I could do anything this world would throw at me. Now, if you recall, I was a shy kid. When people made fun of me, I didn't have that confidence in me to stand up and defend myself or to push back. I just usually tried to get away from it, to run away or to withdraw. But after that training, I had a renewed confidence. In fact, after I had that confidence, I really didn't get picked on like I did before. Funny how that works. But it gave me a sense of confidence, and I could stand up for myself, or I could stand up for other people too. I no longer had that fear that I had had before that. I had a knowledge that I could face difficult things. If I could complete basic training and AIT, I could do anything this world would send for me. And life is full of challenges. Let me tell you that. You probably know this already. Even at your age, you've had to face a lot of challenges in your life. Life will continue to challenge you. And they don't always seem big or obvious. And challenges come in a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's making a big decision. Sometimes it's losing someone special in your life. Sometimes the difficult thing that you have to do is to overcome a situation that you didn't ask for. But whatever challenge life throws at you, when you have completed something that seemed so hard and so impossible, you have the confidence that you can overcome just about anything. And that's how I felt coming out of the training. Another thing that I received, another benefit, was discipline. I know, not your favorite word. Who out there is rolling your eyes? I see you, but I get it. When we talk about discipline, it usually brings up a bad connotation. But let me tell you this. To get through life, you need discipline. You need self-discipline. Discipline is better than motivation any day of the week. Let me give you an example. Sometimes you have things that you have to do that you're not in the mood to do. Maybe it's practicing a band instrument. Maybe it's playing sports or doing homework or work around the house or at your job. You may not feel like it at the moment. And that's what motivation is. But discipline says it doesn't matter how I feel about it at the moment. I have the discipline to honor my commitment and do what I need to do. We don't always feel like doing the things we need to do, but discipline gives us that sense of commitment that we will follow through and do what we have promised to do or are committed to do. You may show up at practice not really in the mood at all to practice. You may be tired or not feeling well, but discipline says, I'm showing up to practice. I'm going to give my all, even though I don't feel like it. Discipline says, I've got this homework to do. I'm not in the mood to do homework, but I'm going to do it and get it done. Discipline is essential to having a successful life. Army training will give you that self-discipline you need to commit to doing the things you need to do, even when you may not feel like it at the moment. And that's a huge benefit. But beyond that, I also got to be a part of something big. Whenever anything happened in the world, if called upon by the Congress or if called upon by the president, I was a part of that group that would respond, that would say, this is the United States, these are our values and our commitments, and we are here to protect our country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I got to be a part of that. And not just for my country and not just internationally, but also in my state. As a member of the Army National Guard of Illinois, I also had a commitment to serve in my community and my state. And that opportunity came up in a very big way in 1993. We had a huge flood. It was an epic flood. Ask your parents about it. Ask your grandparents about it. Look it up. But in 1993, the Mississippi River completely wiped out its banks. I mean, normally you can stand on one side of the Mississippi River and see right across to the other side. In 1993, it was like you were looking out upon an ocean. It was tremendous flooding. It had widespread devastation, and a lot was lost. And when a levee broke, anybody that was working on that levee had to run fast because the water coming through that posed a real and present danger. And as part of the Illinois Army National Guard, I was part of that response. There were members of the National Guard that were filling sandbags to prevent the flooding from damaging property or to protect the levees. I was in the aviation unit, and we were there to fly up and down the river to pull people off of the levees that were in danger, to help rescue property and vehicles that were under the water. And it was amazing to be a part of that response and to serve my community in that way in that time. Being part of the National Guard is pretty incredible because you get to have a job, you get to pursue your career and your interests, but you also are a part of a higher calling that serves and protects your state and your community. To be able to accomplish something that you never thought you would be able to do, or to do something that you only have dreamt about and then you're able to do it, that feeling is amazing and it will stay with you for life. What I received from my training has propelled me all through my life. It continues to help me face challenges even today. That's a big thing that I received from my service. So if you're thinking about the service, whether it's full-time, regular Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, I encourage you to give it some thought. Don't make a rash decision. Those usually don't serve us well. But take the time to think about it. Talk to some other people. Talk to your parents or your family. Do your research and some homework. Being a part of the military can make a tremendous difference in your life and in the lives of others. And I know it can help you grow into a person that can do amazing things. I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to serve, and I hope that you too are thankful for those who serve, but also that you might be a part of something bigger yourselves. If it's the military, then thank you for your service. And I wish you well And I hope you grow into being able to be all that you can be. It's been a pleasure to speak with you today. Bye-bye.
years later, autumn leaves all around. I caught her in the driveway, and she fell to the ground.
They now stand the captain, where her boy used to stand. He said, Mama, following orders from all of your letters, and I come home again. He ran into Holder and dropped all his bags on the floor, holding all of her letters from home. Bring him home. Bring him
Thank you, veterans.
Thank you, veterans.
Thank you, veterans.
Thank you, veterans.
Thank you, veterans.